What's up, guys? Just here back to my channel. Tonight I'll be doing a review for Wwe Wrestlemania 41. So let's get to it then, which is night one for Wrestlemania this year. With the first match, where we go. So it was a good night tonight. So, anyways, all right. So first match, World Heavyweight Championship match. Gunther, who was a champion, versus Jey Uso. It's time for our first match, and Jey Uso gets a grand entrance to Las Vegas. The Raiders. Cheerleaders are in the crowd and a crew lining the ramp, waving flags. Jay makes his way down very, very long stairs. Yeah, it was very long stairs and stuff. Yeah, anyway, sorry about that. This will be a long entrance, folks, and started. Gunther makes his way, enters much shorter, more serious, more far less fanfare. Get the bell. Both men take um, nearly a minute sizing each other up. Jay initiates things, finally going for a lockup. Both men counter each other in our opening moments until Jay shoves Gunther back on his ass for a pop. The person wrote that. Gunther and Jay again circle in the ring. Gunther with the side headlock takedown. Gunther starts a slow stretch of offense using working holds to keep the challenger under control. Uso and Gunther exchange shoulder tackles. Gunther drops Uso with the chop. Jay fires back with a step up enziguri. Gunther rolls to the outside and paces, taking a moment to compose himself. Gunther enters the ring and takes control for a stretch. If you've seen a Gunther match before, you know what's his bag. Clinically slow, methodical approach. Gunther loses control as Jay begins to show some signs of life, leading to a body slam from Uso and a series of strikes. Gunther shuts it down. Shuts it down. Sorry, I can't say it right now. With a chop to the throat, knocking Jay from his perch upon the top turnbuckle to the hard ground. Gunther again takes control and again slows the pace. Highlights of the include more chops and several whips for Gunther to the corner. Jay finally counters one and drops the champ with a spear out of nowhere. Covering for two, Jay persuades Gunther into the corner, causing the ref to force a separation. Gunther uses the opportunity to sucker strike Jay, but Jay fires off a shot of his own. Both men end up struggling for control on the turnbuckles, leading to suplex from Gunther. Gunther hits a dud of a power bomb, more like a power sparkle, and covers for only a two. Jay picks up the pace, taking Gunther down with the head scissors before following it up immediately with a vicious spear. Jay heads up top and connects with the Uso splash, but only gets a two off the cover. Shit. Gunther heads to the outside frustrated, then decides he's going to walk off. Gunther grabs his title and heads to the ramp side of the ring, yelling at Jay. The ref dips through the ropes to warn him. Jay looks for a suicide dive, but Gunther gets the belt up. Jay collides with the belt, and the ref didn't see. Gunther looks to put away Jay in the ring, but Uso kicks out. Gunther slaps in the sleeper, and the crowd begins to eat some life into the challenger. Jay gets close to the ropes, but Gunther rolls them back into the center of the ring. Jay manages to get a toe on the rope, and the ref forces the break. Gunther kneels over Jay, yelling insults at him. Gunther begins to unload on Jay, who's seated in the corner, firing off chops and knees strikes, and he taunts the crowd to jeers. Jay rises and tells Gunther to bring it. Gunther with a chop to Uso, dropping a laughing Jay. Gunther with another chop that drops the laughing Jay Uso to his knees. Someone cue the thumb thumping because Jay gets knocked down, but he gets back up again. No one's ever gonna keep him down. Gunther and Jay began to exchange blows in the middle of the ring, with the crowd eating every blow from the challenger. Jay finally drops Gunther and tries to fire himself up, but Gunther slaps a sleeper on, but Jay ducks under and counters with a snap German suplex. Gunther and Uso recover by the about the same time, using opposite corners to recover in. Uso looks for a spear, but Gunther intercepts with a dinosaur dropkick. Is that's okay? Gunther looks for a powerbomb, but Jay counters with a powerbomb of his own. Uso follows it up with a super kick to another big pop. Uso with the second kick. Then spear. Jay heads up top and hits a Uso splash. Then hits a second. Jay goes up top one more time to another big pop, hitting a third Uso splash. Gunther rolls in pain as Jay sizes him up. Jay with a sleeper on Gunther. Gunther taps, Gunther taps, Gunther taps. The crowd goes wild, but not European tour wild. After the match, Jimmy Uso comes out to congratulate and celebrate with his brother. So your winner and new World Heavyweight Champion, main event Jay Uso. Yes. And the person put 17 minutes of the match, which was not very long. All right, next match is World Tag Team Championship match. The War Raiders, who are the champions, versus the New Day. After Armenia happening this match, we get the entrance for our challengers starting. All right, the person put the time thing, but I don't care. The New Day are out first, wearing cute blue outfits, adored with unicorns, paying homage to Giant Gonzalez from WrestleMania 9. Pure commentary if this is wrong, believe me what I mean, blah blah. The Warriors are out next, dressed as Clash of Clan characters, the Barbarian and Pekka. Okay, we finally get our bell. And our second match of the night is off. Eric starts off for the champs, taking both on Kofi and Xavier. Ivar tags in, and Eric scoop slams Ivar from the apron onto both of the New Day members on the outside. Ivar pancakes both challengers on the outside with a running splash. A brawl carries back into the ring. Commentary heavily hypes the New Day's heel turn months ago, and also harp on Eric's surgically repaired neck and the fact that the New Day have been targeting as of late. The match sees both teams use frequent tags and frequently changes, not much to highlight from the first 6 minutes. The New Day do heel things and Warriors do not. Eventually the pace picks up. The New Day looks for a double team axe handle attack, but Eric intercepts. But Eric Kofi drops Eric with a double trouble in paradise. No, the ref shows a lot of grace, allowing multiple men to be in the ring frequently. Woods saves Kofi from a pinfall attempt by Ivar after Ivar slips off the top while doing a moonsault. Kofi covers but only gets a two. Woods and Eric Woods and Eric are now legal and begin to slug it out in the middle of the ring. Eric and Ivar eventually work together looking for War Machine. Kofi trips up the charging Ivar, causing him to drop on the back of his neck. The New Day picks up the pace and use frequent attacks to keep Ivar in the corner. Woods with a leaping strike to the back of the neck. Ivar Woods covers and picks up the win. So the New Day immediately grab the titles and run up the ramp, running like they stole something pure pat. So your winners and new World Tag Team Champions, the New Day, and the match was 10 minutes. Damn, man, I can't believe they won. Pissed me off. The cheaters. Anyways, all right, this is a singles match, women's match. Excuse me, I'm sorry, guys. So this match is Jade Cargill versus Naomi. It's time for our third match. Our first wearing black and yellow caution tape style gear is Naomi. Poor Michael Cole having to read all these stupid ads every match in their interest. Now we review before Cargill's interest. It's like a fake weather broadcast from outside Legion Stadium, where you want to say it. Finally, Jade comes out to a pod. We get a bell. Jade takes an early lead to our match. Naomi rolls to the outside for a breather and tries to sucker Cargill, and only to be Irish whipped hard into the barricade. Jade takes it back to the ring, where Naomi uses an eye jab or eye take to take control. Naomi with the X Factor on the outside floor. Naomi gets a decent mixed reaction for that. Naomi with a drop kick that lightly kisses the air beside Cargill and sending her falling to the outside. The action continues back and forth. One cool spot about the person put the time thing. Saw Cargill intercept a flying Naomi and slams her down. The crowd is dead. My soul is dead. It wasn't before this match. Okay, it's person, but it's true now. Naomi looks to rally late. Look for another dive. Cargill catches her and covers it into a fallaway slam. followed by Kip Up. The crowd comes alive as they realize this match is nearly over with Cargo kicks dirt on Naomi, then heads up top. Naomi rallies, attacking the ascending Jade. Naomi climbs up after her and hits a super bulldog off the top rope. Naomi with her split leg moonsault covering for a close 2 count. Um, it's a shocking kick out per Wwe Wyatt. Oh yeah, he's making his entrance debut, WrestleMania debut. Pure Michael, forgot to tell you about that. Both competitors are back up. Oh wait, never mind. Naomi kicks Jade twice in the jaw to drop her. Jade blocks a third one and looks for a slam. Naomi rolls through for a pin attempt of her own. Naomi looks for a variation of rings of Saturn, but Cargill refuses to tap. Cargill power slams, rising to her feet with Naomi on her shoulders. Naomi escapes and looks for a roundhouse. Jade ducks under and hoists Naomi up again. This time popping Naomi up over her shoulders, spinning to catch her and power bombing her down. Jade hits the Jaded finisher and covers for the win. So you were Jade Cargill in the 9 minutes. Oh, okay. It was okay. That was not a good match at all. So, anyways, next match, United States Championship match. LA Knight was the champion versus Jacob Fatu. After a video, hyping this video, this morning werewolf Jacob Fatu is out first, accompanied by Solo Sikoa to rap. At least he gets a decent reaction, but damage was done in less than some match of the night. Okay, anyways, LA Knight is out next, riding a shotgun in a fancy sports car. Knight walks the ramp to a decent pop, but again, it doesn't being crowd, which we're reminded that LA Knight competed twice last night on Friday SmackDown. And Wade Barrett questions how smart the decision that was. We get the bell going, and Fatu looks for a series of clotheslines, but Knight ducks each other and covers with shots. Knight takes the challenger into the corner and unloads with strikes before dropping Fatu with a neckbreaker. Knight goes for the BFT early, but Fatu blocks it and stares the champ down. Both men engage again with Fatu taking control. This time, Fatu hits a fluid pop-up Samoan drop on Knight to a decent pop. The crowd is starting to come alive again. Fatu takes control using stomps and dropping headbutts to wear the champ down. Knight with the shoulder thrust and a sunset flip attempt. Fatu blocks it and drops the champ with a crossbody later press for a 2 count. Fatu and Knight continue to exchange control. Knight uses a pair of basement drop kicks to send Fatu outside then drops the Samoan werewolf with a baseball slide kick. Knight takes it back into the ring and climbs the turnbuckles. Fatu plucks the diving champ out of the air, smashing him down to the canvas with a power slam and covering for 2. Knight looks for a running senton, but Knight gets his knees up, blocking it. Fatu whips champ into the ropes and looks for another pop-up Samoan drop. But Knight counters Knight and takes Fatu into the corner and delivers body shots before stopping away. LA Knight heads up top and hits an elbow drop for a 2 count, but can't pull the challenger away. Fatu begins to recover. Fatu takes down the champ and heads up top. Before he can initiate anything, Knight takes his legs out from under. Knight charges the corner, running up the turnbuckles to hit a big German suplex off the top rope. Knight pulls Fatu and looks for a BOT, but Fatu shoves him off. Fatu follows it up with a super kick, then pays homage to Rikishi and Umaga with several running hip strikes in the corner. Fatu heads up top and hits a swanton bomb, carrying for a near fall. The crowd has finally come alive and begins dueling a chant for both men. Fatu heads up top and looks for a top rope moonsault, but Knight catches him mid-air, converting it into a BFT. Knight covers, but Fatu kicks out, and this crowd is absolutely awake and on fire. Finally, Knight heads up top, but is intercepted by Fatu while climbing the turnbuckles. Fatu and Knight jockey for control. Fatu kicks a top ropes, and Knight falls ribs first across the top turnbuckle. Fatu capitalizes on it, climbing the middle turnbuckle to hit a Samoan drop off the middle rope. Fatu with the top rope moonsault and a second one onto the champ. Fatu covers and picks up the win. So your winner and new United States champion, the Samoan Werewolf Jacob Fatu, in 10 minutes of the match. All right, singles match coming up: Ray Phoenix versus El Grande Americano. Oh, and just letting you guys know, Ray Mysterio didn't get to wrestle tonight because he got injured. So yeah, anyways, that sucks. All right, so yeah, Ray Phoenix versus El Grande Americano. I'm sorry, guys. We get vignette hyping this, and I got something you need to YouTube it later. We get we think this is a video highlighting the great lucha legacy of Rey Mysterio, only to see it's really hyping El Grande Americano. This match is next. El Grande Americano is out first with a rather lengthy entrance out next is Ray Phoenix making his WrestleMania debut to a decent pop, great theme music to who performs it while way and below the comments were shown Dana White and a star Vikino were in the crowd and were told WWE and Triple Triple A. More on that to come later. El Grande Americano has words and with Vikino, who attacks him before the match starts. We get the bell going, and Americano stumbles into the ring. Phoenix takes control early and hits an Hurricane early on for a close cover. Phoenix continues to use high flying attacks like missile dropkicks to maintain control early on. A big cross body arrives out Americano on the outside. Phoenix yells at the crowd to a big pop and takes the action back out inside. Phoenix looks for a springboard attack, but Americano ducks over and drops Phoenix with a reverse German suplex. Pretty sure El Grande Americano just kicked up and went Gracias, very similar to Chad Gable. Used to do a thank you. It's just coincidence, though I'm sure Americano takes control for a few moments, taunting the crowd as often as he does his opponent. Phoenix does Phoenix begins to fire back and nearly botches a diving arm drag. Phoenix and Americano pick up the pace. Phoenix charges Americano but is sent flying over Americano's head, crashing into the turnbuckles behind him. Americano climbs the turnbuckles and hits a beautiful backwards 450 splash. Wow, impressive. Even had the commentary team live and all. Americano tries to rip off Phoenix's match, but is fought off Phoenix with a power driver. Americano for another close cover. Phoenix looks to run along the top rope, but Americano shakes the rope, sending him flying outside. Americano retrieves a metal plate from his ties and slips it inside his mask. Only the ref and Phoenix are oblivious to this. Phoenix begins to rally, taking it to Americano. He runs along the rope and kicks Americano face right on the metal plate hidden in the mask. Phoenix falls, and Cole questions whether Phoenix's wrist is broken. Americano pays homage to Chad Gable and slaps on an ankle lock. Phoenix refuses to tap, so Americano looks for a roll up, but only gets two. Americano again uses the metal plate headbutting Phoenix. Americano heads up top and shades a Benoit hits a diving headbutt off the top rope. Americano covers. So your winner El Grande Americano, 8 minutes. All right, so Shawn Michaels did the attendance thing and stuff. All right, so next match is WWE Women's Championship match. Tiffany Stratton, who is a champion, versus Charlotte Flair. After more vignettes, Tiffany Stratton begins her entrance, and she enters the custom Barbie played by courtesy of Mattel. Per Michael Charlotte Flair begins her entrance. I'm trying not to yawn again. Entrance and takes her sweet time getting down to the ring. We get the bell going. Stratton tackles Flair, and commentary hypes the recent animosity between these superstars. Stratton and Flair brawl on the outside before taking it back inside. Stratton stays aggressive, taking it to the challenger and battling her around the ring and then out of the corner. Stratton stays in command for the first 3 minutes. Flair eventually takes control for a bit to all massive boosts. Flair then does Stephanie Valkyrie's move that makes Booker T Goon go and stuff. So, anyways, Flair does that briefly to almost no reaction. She's just not a cheeky enough person to pull the move off. Flair does typical Flair insulting slaps and gestures, talking smack to her opponent while slowing the pace drastically. Flair looks for a cover attempt but fails, just like her marriages. Oh shit, that's fucked up. I wrote that shit. The person wrote that. Anyways, Strand gains some separation after firing off a handspring attack. Flair uses the ropes to assist a jawbreaker, then begins to ascend the turnbuckles. Strand intercepts her and yanks her off into a rolling senton. Both women pick up the pace. Finally, Flair is botch master tonight. Strand counts a horrible springboard spear attempt from Flair into a cover attempt for two. Flair and Strand continue to exchange short lengths of offense. The crowd's flattening. Flair chops a kneeling Strand, yelling, "Get up, bitch! Show me that! Show me what you got!" Flair continues to chop away the crowds, barely even wooing. Strand starts to fight back and gets the crowd back slightly. Flair gets a crowd back slightly and stuff. So Flair with a side drop, kick drop to kick drop to the champ. The crowd's dead again. Flair misses with natural selection and hits a set up power bomb for two. It's blah, blah, and the current temporary is crisp 20 degrees with the temporary. So blah blah. Flair chops. Flair chops Tiffany again. The crowd has left this plane of existence and is now in purgatory. Jokes on them. This match is purgatory. So, anyways, Flair with a back suplex attempt, but Tiff lands on her feet. Tiff sidesteps a big boot attempt from Flair and hits a spinebuster for a 2 count. Flair, cover even commentary sounds bored. Flair drops the champ. Flair climbs the turnbuckles and dives off for a crossbody. Tiff rolls her through into a pin attempt for another close call. Flair quickly rallies and delivers knee strikes to champ. Tiff heads outside. Flair looks for a moonsault, but Strand takes her knees out from under her. Strand slams Flair's surgically repaired knee into the canvas. Flair with a kick to the champ, covering for a week. Two, Flair pulls Strand to the corner and slams the champ's knee into the ring post. Flair begins to focus on Strand's knee. It's only fair. Flair takes several long moments focusing her assault on Stratton's knee. Flair attempts a figure four, but Stratton begins pounding on Flair's own injured knee, forcing her to break the hold. Stratton heads up top and looks for the prettiest moonsault ever, but Flair gets her knees up. Both women are hurting after that one. The action continues with both women fighting in the corner. Flair shoves Stratton off the top, causing her to land on her face. Flair dives off the top, hitting natural selection off the top row, and covering for two. The crowd's finally coming alive. Flair looks upset or possibly constipated. Flair again talks smack to Tiff's face, drowned out by boos. Tiff slaps Flair. Flair chop blocks Tiff's knee out from her. Flair looks for a figure four, but Stratton counters with a roll-up attempt. Flair escapes. Stratton sends Flair into a turnbuckle. Stratton sends Flair into the corner again. Stratton hoists up Flair and hits another rolling senton. Stratton heads up top and hits the prettiest moonsault ever, covering for the win. So your winner is still WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton. So it was 19 minutes and stuff. All right, main event, guys. Here we go. By the way, the reason why it was kind of boring because Charlotte Flair was in the match. That's why, and that's why the commentators were boring stuff. So, anyways, triple threat match, main event match: Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk with Paul Heyman. So here you go, guys. Finally, main event. We finally get our first entrance. Everything in the last 15 minutes we just hype. Seth Rollins is out first, complete with a flame door. He gets a bit of the ramp, then lights out. And the crowd sings his theme. When the lights come up, he's changed from a back row, most likely protective fire retardant wearer gear, to a white robe / ensemble. We get the entrance of a tribal chief. Those throw your fingers up and acknowledge him and stuff. So yeah, assemble / ensemble, whatever. We get the entrance of our tribal chief. Throw your fingers up and acknowledge. Okay, so anyways, Roman Reigns walks solo to the ring and will main event WrestleMania for the 10th time. Michael Cole says this is a good record. Cole points out Reigns is 9-3 at WrestleMania, with only The Undertaker, John Cena, Edge, and Triple H having more wins at WrestleMania. Our last starting his entrance at person put the time thing is CM Punk with Paul Heyman and the band Living Color playing live their head cult personality, all while electrifying 61,000 thousand plus fans in attendance. This was after a unique vignette aired for CM Punk featuring footage from an old promo at Turner's with a recent recording of similar material. He's definitely excited to main event WrestleMania. We get officially announcements ahead of Rebel and stuff. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk all take time drawing off mic with each other. Punk rolls out of the ring and consults his wise man. Seth jaws at Roman, telling him he shouldn't be here. Reigns smacks Seth and then takes him into the corner, unloading big rights on his former Shield mate. Punk comes to the rescue, ripping Roman off Rollins, then replacing Roman, laying into Rollins with the right hand chops. Punk turns his attention to Reigns, who slugs him. Reigns seems to have something going on with his hamstring as he tries to shake it out twice early on, whatever it is. However, he pushes through and ends up dropping Rollins before sending Punk to the outside. Reigns hits his drive-by dropkick on a rope strung Rollins. Reigns turns his attention back to Punk, sending Punk's face first into the apron. Repeatedly, he yells at Heyman. It looks heartbroken. Punk sends Reigns' face into the ring post. Rollins follows up with a suicide dive onto the tribal chief. Rollins whips Reigns into the barricade and then the steel steps while CM Punk takes a breather. Punk and Rollins began to brawl out around that ringside area, eventually spilling over into the crowd. Punk uses a steel chair on Rollins a few times. Rollins uses a metal barricade bar and a trash can to drop Punk. Rollins uses the trash can again and again, hammering Punk's back. Rollins finds another trash can and uses it to smack Punk. Punk starts to fight back, dropping Rollins onto a trash can on the floor. Rollins and Punk battle through the crowd, slowly working their way back towards the ring. Reigns appear out of nowhere, running towards the barricade and diving over it to wipe out Punk and Rollins. Reigns sends Punk over the barricade, followed by Rollins, and returns to ring side area. Reigns assesses the situation and decides to clear the Spanish commentary table to decent pop. Reigns continues to dominate, utilizing clutter around the ring area to continue his assault on Rollins and Punk. The pace picks up shortly after with multiple spots incoming. Punk mocks Reigns, yelling "Ooh ah!" before attempting a spear. Reigns dodges. Reigns looks for a Superman punch, but Punk counters. Rollins comes alive and battles with Punk. Punk sets Rollins and Reigns up in opposite corners and begins to battle the both. Punk surgery something sweet spot that sees him hit a DT on Rollins with his left arm while dragging Reigns down into a reverse DT with his right hand. Punk heads up top and stands perched on the top turnbuckle for a long time. Punk pays homage to Macho Man Randy Savage before hitting a diving elbow drop. Punk still doesn't cover Punk with a scoop slam on Reigns. Punk heads up top, but is intercepted by Rollins. Rollins runs up the turnbuckles and looks for a superplex. Punk fights it long enough for Reigns to rise. Reigns and Punk adversely work together to hit a doomsday device on Rollins. Reigns immediately hits Punk with a Superman punch. Reigns rallies and looks for a spear on Punk, but Punk counters with a knee. Punk looks for a GTS, but Reigns fights out. Punk and Reigns begin exchanging blows as the crowd gets invested in this. Punk with a modified orange for a close cover. Punk looks for an Anaconda Vice, but Reigns hangs on. Rollins heads up top and hits a frog splash off the top rope on both men, covering them for close to. Rollins takes control, hitting a buckle bomb on Punk. Rollins with a pair of buckle bombs on Roman Reigns to a good pop. The crowd sings his theme as he plays conductor. Rollins looks for a pedigree on Punk, but Punk counters by hosting Rollins for GTS. Reigns hits Punk with a spear. Roman looks for another spear, but Rollins counters with a parry. Beautiful spot you'll need to watch later. Rollins with a stomp on Reigns. Seth shoves Punk out of the ring and covers, but only gets a two. Punk is still down during all this excitement. It's now the producer wrote the thing, a time thing, and Rollins is dragging uh, Reigns to the corner. Rollins goes up top, does a sign of the cross, and looks for a top rope strike. Reigns moves, and Rollins rolls through it and gets a big chaotic. Punk hits a GTS on Reigns, and Punk covers, but Roman kicks out just in time. Punk looks in disbelief and composes himself, but Punk sends Reigns into the ring and calls for the ghost sleep. Chaos sways again as we jog closer to our bill. Rollins with the near cover on Punk for after another pedigree. Rollins leans over. Reigns is yelling at him. He again tries to convince Reigns to ally with him, stating Punk is the outsider. Rollins and Reigns work together, heading outside and clearing off a commentary table. Reigns looks torn, unsure if he should team with Rollins. Finally, he snaps, yelling, "Pick him up!" Reigns calls for the shield bomb as Rollins picks up Punk. Rollins is hyped, but until Reigns smacks him hard. Reigns powerbombs Punk through the commentary table. Reigns turns his attention to Rollins. Reigns powerbombs Punk through another commentary table. Reigns enters the ring and hits a high speed spear on Rollins, but Rollins kicks out. All right. Reigns gets a desperate and locks a chokehold and reverse triangle or some. Rollins on Rollins. Rollins hangs on for a lengthy time trying to escape, but it's all fertile. However, Roman constantly privates and charges position to keep the whole lock in. Rollins is only saved by Punk when he spears Reigns or out of nowhere. We're nearly half an hour into this match and fatigue is taking hold. Punk begins to pummel Rollins with rights while he's down. Punk tries to lift Reigns for a GTS but sees Rollins rising. Punk hits a GTS on Rollins. Reigns spears Punk immediately. Rollins rebounds from the GTS out the ropes and actually whatever hits a stump on Reigns. Everyone's down. Paul Heyman gets a steel chair at the ringside area and approaches the ring. With that, CM Punk pounds the mat and calls for Heyman to give him the chair. Roman Reigns demands the same thing. Heyman slides the chair in the ring to Punk, and Reigns looks shocked. Heyman enters the ring, helping Punk rise. Heyman helps Punk raise the chair, then Lobos Punk. He jumped, punched Punk. Heyman screams, "You made me do it!" at Punk. Heyman hands the chair down on his knees to his tribal chief and acknowledges tribal chief. Reigns unloads on Punk with a steel chair, landing shot after shot after shot and stuff to Punk's back. Heyman implores Reigns to look at Rollins draped across the ropes in perfect position for a back smacking of his own. And then it happens. Roman gently sets Paul aside, lines up the chair, and Paul Heyman low blows Roman Reigns. The crowd goes absolutely wild, and Shaw Cole calls Heyman a piece of garbage. Well, he almost said piece of shit, but whatever. Heyman walks over and hands the chair to Seth Rollins to a massive pop. Heyman sits in the corner, and the crowd loudly sings Rollins' theme as he stalks the tribal chief chair in hand. Rollins kisses the steel chair, then attacks Reigns across the back. Rollins with a stomp on Roman, covering to pick the win up approximately. So yeah, almost 10 o'clock here. So yeah, your winner Seth Rollins, and it was 34 minutes, and just like that and stuff. So yeah, 34 minutes of this match. So yeah, it was a good night tonight, and I enjoyed it. But Yeah, I think the okay matches were Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill and stuff matches and stuff, but those two were okay. But yeah, man, there's some changes for the belts and stuff. You know, new champions and stuff tonight. But the only ones I retained was Tiffany Stratton on the first night and stuff. So yeah, so that triple threat match, everybody was waiting for that match and stuff. So yeah, that was the only match people were waiting for because of CM Punk and stuff. So yeah, but anyways, that was a good show tonight and stuff. I enjoyed it. I loved every single bit of it and stuff. So can't wait to see what happens tomorrow night and all that stuff. So anyways, that was it for this video. I hope you like it. Now whatever stuff. So like, subscribe, hit the button, leave a comment. If you guys want to leave a comment stuff, I don't care what you guys do. That was it. I'll see you guys tomorrow night for WrestleMania Night 2. Alright? Laters.